Hey y'all, before we start this video, remember I'm sensitive about my shit and a little bit dramatic, so act accordingly. Nah, I'm playing, y'all. If you're new here, I'm Naisha. This channel is basically hair, vibes, random life updates, me talking too much, and the little pieces of chaos stitched together with prayer. All in all, we're gonna get right into this video about this story time about how I got with my husband after I left my ex-husband that wasn't really my husband. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into this story time. So I'm gonna give you some backstory on my now real husband and me. I met my husband when I was about, I want to say 13. Now I say that because I lied about my age when I met him at the amusement park. Now at the time, the reason why I lied is really because me and my friends had a bet going to see how many numbers we could get. And I was just being young, dumb, and fast. I don't need y'all to be criticizing me in the comments. I already know I shouldn't have been having my fast ass out there doing that dumb shit. And just to clear things up, at the time, my husband was 16. So when I initially approached my husband, me and my friend's sister was just basically telling him that we liked his hair because my husband had long, pretty hair when we were kids. My husband is very laid back and kind of standoffish. So when I went to rub his hair and say, could I braid your hair? He kind of looked at me like, bitch, why are you touching my hair? So it shocked me when he pulled me to the side once we were leaving the amusement park and asked me for my number at the end of that night. Now, me and my husband was together from the time I was around 13, 14-ish, all the way up until I was about 16, 17-ish. My junior year in high school, my mother got a job in Muskogee, so we ended up moving and we broke up, but we did keep in contact from time to time, but we weren't together. Okay, so boom. Now we're going to talk about how I met my ex-husband that really wasn't my husband, and we're going to get into how I met his ass. So when I was 20 years old, I met my youngest son's father. I'm not going to name him. We going to name that nigga John. So I met John at one of the lowest parts of my little life when I was 20. Just so happened, I ended up going back to Muskogee because this girl that I had staying with me got my house shot up while I was out doing hair. And I had to pack up me and my baby and get the fuck out of Dodge and go back home with my mama. Now, I had met John before in Muskogee, but I didn't pay him too much attention because let's be real, he really wasn't my type. Well, for one, he was way too old. He drunk alcohol and he was way too short and he just really wasn't my type. But that nigga caught me at one of the lowest parts of my life. All right, so boom. I comes down there to Muskogee with my mama. We goes over to his mama's house because she did my mama's hair. We chopping it up and everything. I'm sitting outside smoking me a cigarette. He talking to me. And y'all, I really don't know how we ended up where we ended up at. But let's just say my young ass went for the okie doke and it was crazy from that point on forward. There was never a dull moment with me and this man's relationship from the first day to the last. So while this man was out here speaking game to me outside the shop, he had a whole girlfriend, a crazy girlfriend at that. Now I did know about the girl because like I said, I had seen him before because like I said, his mama did my mama's hair and I actually met his mama through one of my neighbors. I used to ride around with the neighbor all the time and she used to go and help his mama out, take her to go do things she needed to do. So I had been over his mama's house before and I seen him with the girl, but that was a year or so before then. So I didn't really know too much about what he had going on. He was out there speaking game to me like this nigga was a single man. All I'm going to say is within 24 hours, this man was basically asking me to marry him, bear his child, and live happily ever after. And because my car had got repossessed, my house got shot up, and I was back at home with my mama, y'all, I fell for the shit. I mean, the girlfriend found out about me within less than 48 hours. And the next thing I know, he on the phone with me basically asking me to be his whole damn wife. And then the next thing I know, this bitch done beat this nigga's ass on the phone. I'm talking about bing, 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 boom, 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 all on the phone. Me and my mama like, what the fuck? Y'all, my mama jumped on her phone, called his mama and stepdaddy and asked her what was going on, and we heard the same commotion in the background of my phone on my mama phone. That girl was turning him every which way but loose. I mean, his ass touched every part of that woman's house, okay? So as y'all can see, that bitch was always a part of our relationship. It was crazy. It got so bad that I actually ended up getting a protective order on her crazy ass. Okay, so how I got pregnant by this man. In the midst of all this bullshit, he ended up coming to my mama's house begging and pleading to come back like he had been doing because, as I stated, he was still actively messing around with this crazy girlfriend of his, and he kept telling her it was over, kept telling me it was over, but he just kept dealing with the girl. Oh, and I forgot to add, that I had got pregnant after that nigga and that girl got me put in jail. I'm talking about JAIL, baby. I was in an orange suit and slippers crying like a damn baby. That's a whole nother story though. But to make it short, I stabbed a nigga and ended up in jail. And the bitch wrote the report because he was too drunk to write the report. When he sobered up, his ass went and dropped the charges. After that, the nigga came to my mama's house unannounced with a coat, some diapers, and some money, and we ended up having sex. Y'all remember that sex scene with Savannah from Waiting to Exhale? When the dude was grunting and it only lasted 2.3 seconds. Baby, that's exactly how it happened. Because till this day, I don't know how the hell we got a whole kid together. Okay, so boom, my dumb ass got pregnant and this nigga stayed sober for 6 months just to make sure my ass did not get an abortion. In the midst of all of this, we had moved back to Tulsa and got our own place together. Yes, he was still messing with the same crazy ass girl. While I was pregnant, that's actually when I ended up getting the first protective order against her ass. During this whole ordeal, I'm thinking I gotta worry about her crazy ass, and the whole time this nigga had a whole relationship with another chick from his job. That nigga taught me a whole lot of valuable lessons, and one of them is don't mess with a nigga that work at a call center. Next thing I know, me and another chick is into it, and this woman is claiming she is pregnant with the baby as well. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into that because me and the girl is actually cool now, and I love my daughter down. But that bitch was crazy too, okay? Fast forward how I married this nigga. Now, I done skipped a lot of parts, but y'all can tell right now, everything that we went through was crazy from the beginning to the end. But I'm trying to speed this up for the sake of the video. Right after I found out the girl is pregnant, he decides to take me to an all-paid trip for my birthday to Vegas. He invites his sister, her husband, and we jumps on a plane straight to Vegas. Now, back then, I was broke and young, and I was in college. One thing he did teach me, though, was never go nowhere with a nigga if you ain't got your own money. I mean, the first night, it was some BS. No cap. And it really got bad when he found out as long as you're playing a slot machine, you can get free drinks. All hell broke loose then. This man was drunk off of his ass the entire trip. We got into it, and to be honest, I can't even remember what we got into it for. All I remember is this man changed the keys to the room, and I couldn't even get in our room. The fool even tried to cancel our tickets, and they sent me a confirmation to my email. I guess his drunk ass forgot that the tickets was on my email. Fast forward to my birthday. He kind of drunk, he kind of sober, but he wasn't drunk off his ass. Mind you, I didn't tell my mama that we went to Vegas. He called my mama that morning to inform her we were in Vegas. I used to try to be dumb in peace, and y'all, this man never let me be stupid in peace. He had to let everybody know I was dumb as fuck. Why this man called my mama while I was sleeping and tell her we was getting married? Y'all, she woke me up so fast and said, I know you are not in Vegas about to marry that man. So y'all, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, yeah, we in Vegas, but I'm not about to marry this man. Mind you, the reason why she believed him is because he had asked me to marry him at a Dollar Tree with a big ass ring, and my dumb ass said yes. So the whole day of my birthday, everything was going smooth. Like I said, he was still drinking, but he wasn't just disrespectful and off his ass. After we got dressed, he told me he wanted to get on a double-decker bus down there in Vegas so we could explore other parts of Las Vegas, and we ended up seeing a chapel, went to the courthouse, and got married. Only people that knew about us being married was his sister and her husband. Word of advice, ladies, if you marry a man and you feel like you can't tell nobody, don't marry them. That means you're not supposed to be marrying them if you have to keep it a secret. Long story short, he got drunk, told his mama, and all hell broke loose. The first crazy girl that I told y'all about at the beginning of this video found out and said, how you gonna marry her if you're already married to somebody else? Of course, he denied it. Told me that he had been married before, but he got married while he was drunk to some white girl, but they weren't together and they weren't married anymore. Now, I believed him because a white girl never popped up and said, that's my husband. And I had him all over my Facebook page. I really thought the girl was talking out the side of her neck. But if I would have been smarter, I would have got my behind on OSCN and looked up that marriage license. Fast forward about 3 years later to when I left him. He told me he was going to go pick up the rent money from his mama, and then he was going to be home from work. And didn't come home until the next day around 11 o'clock. And when he came back inside of my car, he was with another female. Come to find out, this man had been on Plenty of Fish. But this particular female, he actually met her at Crick Trip. Come to find out, this man had been in my car outside of the casino having sex with this woman all night long. The only reason why he came back home is because I reported my car stolen. When he came back, his mama was behind him. The girl got out the car, went and got in her car, and he pulled a gun on me to make sure I didn't confront the girl. Mind y'all, he did all of this in front of my children. So yes, it was time to go. Now, at the time, I had just got out of the hospital. I was in the hospital for a whole week. During the time of me being in the hospital, I reconnected with my now husband. A mutual friend of ours actually contacted him and informed him that I was in the hospital. Little did I know, this man and that girl was plotting on me the whole time. Y'all, my husband had told that girl as soon as I took off my wedding ring, he was marrying me and we were having a baby together. And homeboy was true to his word. Now, he was respectful of whatever I had going on with old dude, but as soon as I called that man crying and said he pulled a gun on me, he said, pack your shit, it's time to go. And baby, I was moving faster than Mexican music, getting the fuck up out that house. I called and broke the lease on our house, moved everything about that motherfucker, packed up old dude shit, put it by the front door, And I cashed his 401 check from his job because he did get fired. Now, I'm not the reason why he got fired. He got fired because he did a whole bunch of no-call, no-shows because he was out there with that hooker hoe. By the time that man came home, the house was completely empty, and baby, I had already started looking for me and my kids an apartment. I tell y'all, that man came home and I beat the dog out of him. I beat that man with everything in that house that was left. That time I didn't go to jail. When he went to the hospital for high blood pressure because of all that drinking he had been doing, they asked him, was he okay and was he safe at home, looking at me sideways? And he kept it 100. He told him I pulled a gun on her in front of my kids and I was cheating on her. While he was in the hospital acting like he was about to die because he knew he was about to lose his wife and family, I had got a phone call that I got approved for a 1-bedroom apartment, and I went to go pick up them keys. After that, I left him, dropped him off at his mama's house, told him no hard feelings, but I had to go ahead and move around. And yes, my husband moved right on in with me. We was one big happy family with all 3 of our children the same night. And I wasted no time getting them divorce papers, baby. As soon as them taxes hit, I went and got me some divorce papers. But tell me why I goes down to the courthouse on the day that we're supposed to be getting our divorce, and that woman looked me dead in my face and told me that me and that man wasn't legally married. That judge told me there's no way you could legally be his wife because he's been married to another woman in Muskogee for the past 10 years. I looked that woman in her face and said, if I go downstairs right now and get married, would it be legal? She said, yes, it will, because you're not legally anyone's wife. Hearing that was like music to my husband's ears. Next thing I know, he didn't ask my mama for my hand in marriage, and we downtown picking up a license, and at his ain't getting married.